Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio. Discover your spiritual gifts live.
Welcome to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts Live show number 12. We are your hosts, Dave,
Vialet,
and Jason.
Our guest today is Pixi Eagleheart, shamanic practitioner and creator of Pixi's Potions and Pearls. She's been intuitive since childhood, but she's been actively using these gifts in the last 5 years. You see Pixi at many fairs and festivals around town and in the area, but she also sees clients. We'll talk about that later. Her potions were originally created to support this practice. But now we have her with us, and we can ask her all about this. So welcome, Pixi. Thanks for being on the show with us.
Thank you. Hi.
Don't be intimidated.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Let's see it.
Well, I first met you at the fairs, and I've seen you for a long time, and we connected more at the last one. So tell me more about what you do at the fairs and how you got into the potions.
Well, I made my first potion, which is Diversity. It's a sage spray. I made it for, I was doing my very first holistic fair as a healer. And I wasn't sure if I could have something to burn, like a stick of sage, inside the building. And on top of that, I didn't want to have to be worried about that stick of sage that will never go out. You know, once you get it lit, sometimes it's billows upon billows upon billows of smoke, and you cannot get it to go out.
Absolutely.
So I decided to make an infusion. And at the time, you know, I just grabbed a stick of sage that I had in my house and some water and made an infusion, took it to the fair, and was using it on people, and was really surprised to see the shift that was happening for people. I could see their aura shifting, I could see them grounding, and I was like, wow, I can do this better. So I decided to go to the mountains, and I collect my water from the river, and I wild harvest the sage, and everything is done as sacred ceremony. They're infused with crystals. Then I decided that they needed to be charged in the moonlight, so now I have water that's been under the moon since 2017 that goes into them. Decided to do energy healing. I now have 3 modalities that goes into them, and then I also infuse them with crystals. So there's a lot of energy healing that goes into them. But yep, it was just, you know, working at a fair.
For the people who are listening, what does it mean to infuse them with crystals? I know some people actually grind up crystals and put crystal particles in it. Mm-hmm. How do you infuse them with crystals?
Well, I do some grinding,
okay.
But for the most part, that's kind of a trade secret.
Oh, okay.
Tread lightly, Dave.
I know.
Yeah, They do have crystal energy in them. It's all done with intention, and some of them, and they all also have actual crystals in them as well.
Oh, okay. Well, very cool. And tell us about the moonlight. I'm curious about that.
Well, the moon is, you know, it's about being connected to your intuition, and it's also got a lot of healing energy. The different phases of the moon bring in different energies for us. So I just felt that it was important to have that elemental energy. You know, once I've collected the waters and the plants to go into my potions, it's no longer getting that moonlight, you know, and it's kind of like keeping the energy flowing by making sure that I have water that's been collected in sacred ceremony under the moon, really the sun, moon, and stars, because I put it outside and it stays outside. In the wintertime, it goes into a window, so it still gets all that energy. It's just kind of my way of trying to keep that energy more alive. Mm-hmm. Plus, the different phases of the moon, like especially like the eclipses and the blood moons, those are times of transformation and like release and new beginnings and stuff like that. So my stuff really works on that, because as a shamanic practitioner, that's what we're doing. We're helping people let go of those shadows and move into a more positive place in life. So keeping that supported elementally and numerologically and all of that is important to me.
Now, these seem to be water-based. Do you do oil-based or just water-based?
I have both. I have oils and sprays. So originally I started out with sprays, and then I had somebody asking me if they could purchase the oil. So now in my sage line, my magical spray line, they're available in the straight oil blend as well as the spray. So the oils are going to work a little deeper in through the chakras, and the spray works more in the auric field.
Okay.
So they do have a completely different feel when you use them.
Well, I'll ask the obvious stupid question. So you don't normally run oils through a spray?
No, the oils are in the spray.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, but in the beginning, I was only making a spray.
Okay.
And then I was asked to bring them out in oil form, and
okay.
so I did.
I didn't know
Yeah.
if oils were a problem going through a spray mechanism or not.
No, they're
Trade
not.
secret.
I know.
The crystals, however, can sometimes get tricky.
The particles do get tricky.
Yeah.
More than once I've had to clean one of those out, but absolutely worth it for the product. There's no doubt.
It's a work in progress, and some of them tend to negatively affect the sprayer more than others. My crystal clarity being the one that tends to tell the sprayers that they're going to stop working the most.
Well, that's great. Well, for the listeners, I'm sorry we don't have smell-o-vision for you, because we're getting to sample these things, and they smell great. So
I have a question that's a lot of people ask, and I just want to get your take on it, because you said that you could see the aura shift, you could see the energy shift, you could see the grounding. And knowing that you're an intuitive, some of us actually do see the energy move. Some people do, but most people have a sense for it. So
Right.
what is that like for you, and how has it developed?
Me being able to see that?
Do you actually see it, or do you just kind of have a knowing around it, and that's what you mean by seeing? What is that like for you?
Yeah, I don't... My gifts are changing. So, like, there's a difference in how I see now as compared to then, if that makes sense. Mostly what I can see is, like, by watching the person. It's not so much that I'm seeing the aura in itself change. I'm seeing the person change, and I can tell it's an energetic shift. So generally, like, I can see their shoulders drop. I can see, like, the weight leaving their body, and I can see them physically ground. They're, like, more solid. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's what I see. I can literally see the moment when my potions actually ground them. I can just, boom, there you are.
You're back.
Now you're standing on the earth. So,
well, we all have a tendency on this path to want to be up and float. People want to float versus being in their body. They would much rather be in a meditation state versus being here. And I found being here is really important if you can physically ground and set in your body. And people don't realize how important it is. They're kind of like, oh, floating out there. And it's like, if we could just bring you back in, you can experience this so much better.
Right, exactly. What I've come to understand for myself, and I may or may not be true for other people, because we all have different perceptions of life, but what I've come to understand is that, yes, you want to have that spiritual connection. You want to listen to your higher guidance and your spirit guides, and you want to be able to bring in that knowledge and all of that. But if you're trying to manifest anything for yourself in this world and your feet are not on the ground, you can't. That root chakra connection is the most important thing in order to be able to actually manifest anything in life. So my potions work through all the chakras, some of them more than others. They help with bringing the Earth Star energy up through the Earth Star chakra, and in through all of them. So keeping you rooted, but then taking you into the higher realms for that communication. Some of them have a higher vibe than others. Crystal Clarity is my one with the highest vibe. Jason's definitely familiar with that one. And it is one that will work through all the chakras from the Earth Star to the Soul Star, but it's got a much higher vibe. Whereas these ones, my new line, the Sacred Elements line, it does the same thing, but it leaves you more grounded and connected, whereas that one takes you more up, but still works through all the chakras. That one, Violet, if you mist it on your third eye, you'll feel like a
new person?
A little explosion there.
Let's try this. Ooh. Well, a lot of times it's about people understanding what to do with the sprays. Like the sage spray, we get it, grounding. But how do we use these? What is the purpose? When should we use them? What are they meant for? Can you give us a little idea on some of your sprays?
Okay, yes. I'm going to try and do like a little quick synopsis here for you. So these four are my original sprays. Diversity was my first. And these are my sage-based sprays. So these are the ones that I go to the mountains, I get the water from the river, I wild harvest the sage, infuse them with the crystals, energy healing, water that's been under the blood moon, and all of that. So the base for all of them is the same. The water, the herbs, the crystals, the energy healing, all of that is the same in all of them. And the difference is that each one is a different blend of oils. I started working with the number 9. I didn't totally understand why I was at the time, but 9 is a sacred number in sacred geometry. It's also a sacred number in a lot of different spiritual paths. And numerologically, it is a number of completion and endings. So these sprays are going to help with clearing away, obviously, with, sage and grounding. But the oils are blended to help support the energies that we work through here in this earthly realm. So what these are going to do is they're going to clear away your energy, but then the oils are going to help they're going to help clear away negative energy, but then they're going to help support the ability to actually manifest a specific intention. Okay. So diversity is my multi-purpose blend. Tranquility is my blend for meditation and relaxation. So it's going to help with bringing in like divine love and inner peace. It helps calm and quiet the mind, helps with focus, relaxation, things like that. I use that one all the time, like if I'm needing to focus on a task, because I'm a pixie and I have a little squirrel brain, shiny things. So this one helps me, it'll help me focus, but it also helps me calm and quiet my mind so that I can sleep as well. So it's got a lot of applications.
I think that would be good for a student, right? Somebody studying.
Yes, absolutely.
Like going to school, because we have students come in from Arapahoe Community College looking for stuff. So to help them study and focus on their schoolwork or any of that, that would be an awesome one for too.
Yeah, additionally, our sense of smell is the most impactful in, it's going to make the most... It's considered our strongest of our 5 senses for several reasons. One, we have a lot more receptors in our olfactory nerve system compared to like our sight and our sound and our taste. I think it's like 10,000 times stronger than the other ones. It's considered. And secondly, it connects directly to the part of the brain that controls memory and emotion, whereas all the other senses have to go through a different part of the brain and be relayed there. So it's very intense, it's very immediate. So when you're using something like scent, when you're studying, it will actually help cement in the knowledge, and then when you're taking the test, you can just use the smell, and you don't need the notes, because the smell will help bring up the notes.
Oh, so, very cool.
Yeah. So, which... I didn't actually know all of this. I knew it because I've been on this path I don't know how many lifetimes, but it wasn't like conscious knowledge. But scent is one of the most powerful ways that we can help reprogram our emotions and our action. So it's a very powerful way to support any type of energy healing work. Prosperity is my blend for manifestation and motivation and things like that. So a lot of people with their prosperity type blends, they use a lot of oils that connect to the energy of fire for like that transformation and all of that. And I do have those oils in there, but I focus on root chakra because the truth is, like I said, when you're trying to manifest something, you have to be grounded. You can't actually bring it into fruition if you don't have your feet on the ground. So my blend is a little different. This one's just going to help with my goal was for people to feel fearless and supported when taking a leap of faith when I blended that one. So it's going to help with like motivation, courage, building strong relationships, bringing in energy for luck and trust and things like that. And then vitality is for healing and regeneration. And this one, again, is different than what most people would use for their healing blends. My focus with this is to help people with letting go of negative emotions, like grief, anger, fear, anxiety, stress, because those are the things that we hold on to that we make ourselves sick with. And so it's going to help with releasing that and then bringing in positive emotions like hope and faith and happiness and self-confidence and the things that we need to help support ourselves in getting better on all different levels, spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental.
Your Vitality blend is one of my favorites. To not carry the whole bottle that I have, I put it in a little tiny, like 5 milliliter, really small, just a few drops because you only, like you said, need to smell it. You don't necessarily have to have it on you.
Right.
Once you've connected to it, if you've got a lot going on, and then I suddenly, after a trip, realized that I could smell essential oils, and I thought it was other people around me in the airport, and it turned out that it had it had actually broken in my bag. And I said, well, that's Vitality, so what is it that is triggered that I needed that help with? What needed to be released? And it came up. I mean, I figured out what was going on and why. Once I inspected and realized what was happening, but it allowed me to recognize why I had it and what the purpose was, and to release those things. I mean, it really works. It really works.
You.
I was grateful that I had put it in a smaller one.
So you didn't lose all of it?
So I didn't break my big one. Right? But there's several of your oil blends that I travel with, and I use the selenite spray.
Crystal clarity.
Yeah, because especially people that are struggling with their heart space. Mm-hmm. And whenever you spray that directly on a chakra, it fires that chakra up. But it really works with the heart. Mm-hmm. One spray in the front and one in the back, as you instructed me. Mm-hmm. And people will just sit there and you can just see them absorb it. And you can see that love for themselves just expand.
Yeah.
And it works great for the readings that I do because I'm connecting with people's personal superpowers. So to give them that spray, to give them that kind of extra love for themselves, it really accents the reading. And it really helps people kind of step into it in that moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really powerful. All of your blends are amazing. There isn't one that I don't like. They're all just delicious, and they're easy to use, very effective.
Thank you. One of the wonderful things about Crystal Clarity is that it doesn't have oils in it. This is an infusion of crystals and minerals. And when I first started making it, I like I said, I do everything in ceremony, and I spend a lot of time with all of the different things that go into it. And it was outside under the sun, moon, and stars for a very long time before I, finally decided it was ready. And I think this is, I currently have my 4th batch of it under the moon right now. So this batch that I have now is the 3rd year that I made it. And I had, I decided to bump it up from 9 crystals to 11 a little bit ago. And it made a huge difference because when I first made it, the vibration was so high it was actually ungrounding to a lot of people. Like, you had to be really careful with it. It's got a super high vibration. But once I shifted to the 11, it's got a little more grounding ability to it. Although still, like, when I talk about my products, like, I talk about the sage sprays as like walking on the earth, and then Divinity, my Mugwort blend, is like visiting the heavens. and crystal clarity is like taking a little trip to the cosmos. It's very high vibration. But like you were saying, it's got, because of that, you know, it's got the ability to really clear the chakras. It's got moldavite in it too, which is one of the reasons why it works so much in the heart, because moldavite is a heart stone. But yeah, this one I love. I use it to clear auras. I use it to shift heavier energies that don't get shifted with things like sage and stuff like that. I use it to clear and charge my crystals after my sessions with people, because as an energy healing practitioner, you can't always like wait for the full moon. You know, you got to get those things cleared right away.
Got have tools.
I call this moon in a bottle. Like, it's got so much moon energy. And now through the years, if I ever have any left over, I just add it to the next batch. So this is cumulative as well. So now it's like going on 4 years of energy. Moon energy and such.
Very cool.
So, but basically, yeah, as you use them, like the sprays, you're going to mist them around your aura or in a room, and with whatever intention is going to be supported by the blend. The oils, I usually suggest breathing them in, you know, just closing your eyes and allowing yourself to be really centered and just spending a few deep breaths with intention with them. And then that'll just help shift your day and set things up for you for the day. I have my Aphrodisia blends, which is an oil line that I blended for people to wear. And these ones, my focus is on self-love and connecting to the parts of ourselves that we need to love and nurture. And these ones, I usually put them in my lotion, because I do unscented lotion, or I put them in my hair, or different things like that. And each one, I have 3 different sets, and then a 7th one that's on its own. But they're all blended to. The sets are blended to actually be mixed together too. So they have a masculine and feminine energy to them, although the scent doesn't necessarily have to go one way or the other. They're very androgynous. They can fit anybody in any, you know, given situation. But they're also blended to be mixed together. So Goddess and Warrior can be blended together to create a 3rd fragrance. Eros and Etheria can be blended together to make a 3rd fragrance, and same with Kearney and Artemis. And Freya, she just doesn't have a partner yet, and I don't know if she's going to. She just might be a standalone oil. So we'll see what the spirits tell me.
Have fun and make a Loki.
No, he's coming in, so it could happen. I may be making Loki and Kali.
Okay.
We'll be down for one of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll take a trickster oil.
Transformation. It's interesting because I have a different perception of Loki than a lot of people do. He's been coming to me and giving me information that he's not necessarily the bad guy everybody thinks he is. You know.
Oh.
He's more about shaking things up so that we can grow and transform. And
well, he's the one who can say the things that nobody else says. He can bring out the information that everybody's thinking, but nobody's willing to put into words. He's the one with the balls. Yep. That's what I mean by the tricksters. Yeah. Not in a negative aspect, but guess what?
Yeah. Oh, guess what we're gonna do?
I'm acting like a bonehead, but I'm really the smartest guy in the room.
No, seriously. That's everything he does is even though the outcome may seem negative, it's for a reason. Yeah. So
Well, it's the polarity. It's the truth of polarity.
Balance.
Yeah, you have to have both sides. You have to have the calm, and you have to have the storm.
Like chaos and order, right? You can't just have order. You have to have chaos. There has to be balance in there, because otherwise, order just will never. It'll fizzle out. Mm-hmm. You know, there has to be change.
Laws of the universe. Yeah. Laws of the universe. So you haven't quite gotten to what is currently my favorite oil. Dave has a bottle of it
I'm just going to go there because I know what you're going to say. Yep. It's Atavist.
Yes.
And so Atavist, Idun, and Balder are in my seasonal blends. Okay? These are oils that actually... I brought out to help support specific seasonal energies that are going on. So Atavist was for Samhain, and I blended this one to help with bringing the spiritual and the physical realm together, because at that time of year, a lot of people are honoring their ancestors. They may want to be, putting out a meal to honor them. They may want like spiritual guidance and things like that. And a lot of people, in many, 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 many cultures, there's a ceremony or a ritual or a holiday that is dedicated to the ancestors and honoring them. For me, it's so much more than that. It's also being able to call on them whenever I need to. This blend also, as a practitioner, is going to help with thinning that veil so that we can help spirits cross over or help with communication. It's also going to help with alleviating deep, deep grief. So if you're working with somebody or someone who's recently experienced a very extreme loss, this one's going to help with, it's going to help assist them in communicating with the person that they lost so that they can move through those emotions and move on. This one's extra special because it is amplified with energies, crushed moldavite for that heart healing and raising the vibration of the different oils and stuff. It has crushed amethyst to bring in extra protection, because when we're working in those kind of realms, it's good to have the extra protection. And then it's also attuned to Abu Ghurab, which is an ancient Egyptian crystal altar, because I wanted to connect us to the ancestors and to the star beings, and because when you're wanting to talk to the ancestors, it doesn't have to be just this world, right? And then this one, I also added my sacred elements water, which is my sacred crystal waters that have been gathered from around the world and infused with 11 crystals to help with transformation and manifestation, as well as those waters will open, clear, balance, align, and activate all the chakras from the Earth Star to the Soul Star. So this one's a pretty powerful one. It's got a lot of energy work and stuff in it. So that was my first one. And then I have a winter solstice one, which is Balder, and then I have a Dune, which was for Imbolc and rebirth and regeneration. And do you want to smell? I saw Jason's face light up. He's like, what's that one?
Ooh, that one's really different.
Yeah. So close your eyes
different.
and smell it again. Does that smell like a golden, delicious apple to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it's very fruity. It's got that kind of happy fruit.
Yeah.
Kind of harvesty.
Idun is the Norse goddess who grew the golden apples of immortality for the gods. So she's about working with the earth and growing things, which, that's what Imbolc is about. But she's also about rejuvenation and eternal youth and a lot of those kind of energies as well. So
I really like that one. That one's really...
Yeah, it started out as a custom blend. So one of my clients was like, I'm going to be dealing with apple energy this year. I need you to make me an apple blend. And I was like, okay. So that's how she started out. And now she's just a regular part of my repertoire. So.
Well, the Freya, when I smelled that was a very sweet one.
Freya was actually the second one that this client asked me to make for her. And Freya's got a lot different energy than Idun, though. Mm-hmm. Even though they both have the apple, Freya is a lot more powerful. It's got a lot more fierceness and
I really liked Freya.
Yeah. Freya's really about overcoming fears of intimacy. She just kind of blasts through that. So I've added Freya to my Aphrodisia blends because it just seemed appropriate.
Okay. That's
where she belongs.
And you said something about how to use these. You talked about putting them in your lotions and stuff.
So yeah, with the Aphrodisia blends, those I usually put a few drops in my hands and put them in my hair or
kind of rub them right into your hair.
I love wearing my oils in my hair because even though I don't continue smelling them, I'm still smelling them. You know, our sense of smell is very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Acute. I'm very sensitive, so you're smelling it even though you don't know you are. So it's reminding you of that every time the wind blows through your hair or whatever. But it also, when people hug you and stuff, they get to smell it as well. Or at least when they do me, because I'm little and tiny, and everybody's like, I'm below you. So, but then after I put it on my body, then I will cover my nose and close my eyes, make sure I'm very grounded, and take a few deep breaths with intention that fits with the intentions of the oils to help support that for myself. The sprays, I just spray them around me to clear myself off. I love the sage sprays in that it really feels like you just take off a coat of negativity. Like you can feel all that stuff that's attached to you throughout the day just fall away. It's a very refreshing feeling.
Well, this is a good point to take a break. We're going to have some special information for you, so stay tuned, and we'll be back in a moment.
Discover Your Spiritual Gifts has readers available every day starting at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We offer 30-minute readings for $50 and 60-minute readings for $90. You can make an appointment or just stop on in for availability. Call ahead at 720-573-4275.
Welcome back to the show. Our guest is Pixi Eagleheart, and she's talking about all the great things she's doing with her potions and all her mixes and blends. This is great.
So talk to us a little bit, because I'm curious about the goddess warrior, Etheria, Eros. I'm probably not pronouncing them right.
You are.
What are the energies, or what's in these? If somebody was looking for to look into these besides just smelling them, and I love this, what are some of the elements in it that would draw people to certain ones?
Thank you for asking, Violet. So goddess and warrior were my first two blends, and goddess was one of those things. This was. It's funny how like everything I do is just on some level a happy accident. Like it's not. I didn't know what I was making when I made it. You know, I just listened to my guidance and I do it, and then the information kind of comes in later. Goddess was one of those where I'm a jasmine fiend. I love jasmine, and it's been my signature fragrance for the longest time. I just, was always put on jasmine oil in the morning. But I had brought in some rose oil because I was going to be making Vitality, and that's one of the oils in there. And one day I just had this thought, I think these three oils would go really well together. So I put them together and created Goddess, and it was amazing, and it became my signature fragrance, and I wore it every single day, and decided I was going to bottle it, and in doing so needed to make something for, the other half of the people out there that need this kind of stuff. What I came to understand is that Goddess and Warrior are about balancing masculine and feminine energies. So at the time that I created Goddess, single mom, working 2 jobs, 7 days a week, starting this new business, just, really in my warrior, manifesting things for myself. And what I didn't totally recognize at the time is that, I wasn't really embracing who I am as a woman as well. And, we can be feminine and soft and vulnerable and powerful at the same time, which is what a goddess is. So that's what Goddess does, is it helps people connect to the feminine energies of being kind and compassionate and soft and vulnerable, but still stand in your power and not be walked all over, but not be overly strong with it. And then Warrior, her partner fragrance, is kind of the opposite. So it's going to help with connecting to the more masculine energies of like fierceness and strength and motivation and things like that. But it's got a sweetness to it to help keep you connected to your emotions and to kindness and compassion and things like that. So they're just to really help us balance our energies, because a lot of us are unbalanced. A lot of women are either too strong or they're walked all over, and a lot of men are very forceful and controlling, or they're more meek and just kind of like timid and follow along. So these are my blends to help with blending that, helping balance that.
I love that.
Eros and Etheria are about boundary setting and empowerment, which is another thing that a lot of us have issues with. People talk about how, they need to have stronger boundaries, that people are always crossing their boundaries and things like that. Well, the truth is, if somebody is crossing your boundaries, that's because you've already crossed your boundary. So these ones are going to help you be empowered enough to actually hold your own boundaries for yourself. Eros has a little bit more of a focus on like the sacredness of our being. It also is my most primals. It's got the most primal feel of all of my oils. So this one also kind of has a little bit of energy for like sacred sexuality. You're a sacred being. Your body is a sacred temple, and only that which is reverent should be allowed to cross the threshold kind of energy. As well as it's just going to help you hold those boundaries for yourself so that you're not crossing your own boundaries. Because we do that all the time, right? How many times do you tell yourself, I'm never going to do that again, and then, the next day you're doing it. So Eros is going to help with holding those boundaries for yourself so that other people don't cross them. And Etheria is more about being able to actually articulate and speak out loud your boundaries, but do it from a place of divine love. Because a lot of people, when they feel like they're in a situation of potential confrontation, they go into that fight or flight mode, right? Your first chakra gets kind of like fired up. And so when people stand up for themselves, a lot of the time, it tends to be very forceful. When you're doing that, you're not as easily heard. So if you can speak from a place of divine love, but empowerment and strength and things like that, then that's going to help, the whole process go a lot smoother. So Etheria is the one that I wear when I'm heading into a situation where I may feel like there's potential for confrontation. Or I just really want to be able to speak my truth and be heard and not have that conflict rise up. So... And again, they can be blended as well. So if you need a mix of that, they blend. They're designed to be blended together.
Well, when I smell Eros, I feel that in my third chakra, and then when I smell Etheria, I feel that like light up my fifth chakra. So your personal power and your self-expression, that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, and that's physically where I can feel it. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing work.
Thank
Amazing
you.
work. Beautiful.
So
I'm a Pixi fan.
Well, I'm a fan of you too. So my next two are Kearney and Artemis, and I brought these out about a year ago, kind of in honor of Beltane. That fertility type of energy, which goes into like manifestation, right? So that's another area where a lot of us are challenged, being able to manifest our hopes and our dreams for ourselves. So these ones, what they're going to do is they're going to help you with connecting to your higher guidance, but they're also going to add energies for like strength and stamina so that you can pursue your wishes and dreams, with being connected to your higher guidance, but with the energy and the fortitude and whatever that you need to be able to do it. Kernunos, those energies are coming more from a place of a pure heart, so very authentic, without any hidden agenda, just expressing yourself from that pure love place. And Artemis is going to come more from a place of childlike wonder, which helps with removing those blocks that we put in front of ourselves. Because, a lot of times when you want to go and do something, you're like, well, but then I've got to do this and that and the other thing. Like, I explain Artemis, like, if a child wants to go ride a pony, they just go ride the pony. They don't really think about it. But as an adult, we're like, okay, first of all, am I too big for the pony? Where do I find a pony?
Am I going to get hurt on the pony?
Do I fall off the pony and break my arm and not be able to work anymore? Like, we put all these things in front of ourselves instead of just going and riding the pony and enjoying the ride, right? And I think that's something that we get lost on a lot. We don't... So anyway, here's Carnunos. That one, when I smell it, I feel like I'm deep in the woods. I feel like I'm in the forest, in the heart of the forest.
It's another one of those that comes on in layers.
Yes.
Right? It almost, like I can smell it in the front of my olfactory, and then it kind of lights up as it goes up.
And these ones, you should feel a little bit more of a lift with them as well.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop.
And these ones are a little bit different in that, I do put all my oils in a carrier because I am selling them with the intention of people putting them on their skin, and it's not always... Certain oils can actually cause reaction if they're in full strength, so I put them in carrier oil to make sure that they're safe. Carnunos and Artemis are actually put in an evening primrose carrier because evening primrose brings in energies of the fae, the fairies and the elves and all of that, and these particular ones... That brings in that more playful, magical energy, right? Artemis, to me, feels like the fairy forest. It's a little more playful, a little lighter.
Where the say it again?
Carnunos.
Carnunos. That felt like a lift. That feels more like a horizontal expansion. One was kind of vertical. That one's more... You're stepping into the space that you weren't actually looking at the same way before. You're seeing more than you saw.
Yeah, a broader perspective, right? It removes the blocks. It takes the blinders off. Wow, that's so exciting. That's awesome. Thank you for just validating what I do by that expression.
It's amazing. It's amazing products, and one of the things that I respect the most about your process, and you've always shared that, and I've heard you share it with others, and you've told me about it, is the level of ceremony and intention that you put into the whole process. And a lot of people talk about that, but you really live it. You even do it when you're designing the labels and when you're putting it all together, like you're standing at the printer, right? Like in ceremony, and people forget that you can do it in a modern setting, but you bring it all together. So it's very intentional all the way through.
Thank you.
And that's that. I think that's a part of your products that's different than what some other folks do. Like they come up with a blend and then, this blend works. Let me put it together. But yours has it has a special touch to it.
Thank you.
So it takes you a while, I would imagine, to, some of these come to you right away, some of them take a while. How does that, the seasonal thing, how did that show up for you?
I'm just trying to kind of process how I want to answer that question. Some of them came in very, very fast and were very quick and easy to blend, and others were a little bit more of a struggle. Diversity, my very first one, I found a resource to help me understand the magical and spiritual properties of the oils, because I don't work with the everyday mundane energies. I work with the magical and spiritual properties of the oils. And I was literally standing in, I don't know, Lucky's or Sprouts or one of those health food places in front of the oils, looking at my list, and I'm like, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I picked a bunch of oils, went home, blended them, and within 10 minutes I had my blend. So it literally just fell together. And looking back at the oils, I basically had an oil in there to kind of help with everything. So it's a multi-purpose blend, it'll help support any intention. That one fell together really easy. Tranquility did not. Tranquility was difficult. I didn't have 9 oils picked. You know, I'd done my research on what energies I wanted to pull in and chose the oils and got them and blended them together, and I felt like I had 2 wild dogs that were ready to tear each other apart. It was not good.
That's the opposite of tranquility.
Yeah. It was not good. I was like, oh no. So I kind of had to like really tap into my higher guidance and go back to the drawing board a little bit and do a little more research and find a few more oils to add to help balance it out. And by the end, I had 2 ounces, it might have been more like 4 ounces of oil that I thought I was going to maybe have to throw away. But by the end, it finally came together, and I had 9 oils blended in there. So that's when I decided that was the number I was supposed to be using. And the beautiful thing about that is that, you know, the 9 oils are added to sage, which turns it into a 1. So it's clearing away and ending, and then an initiation and a new beginning. So I love that they're supported numerologically that way. Some of them take a while, like Divinity, which I haven't talked about yet. This is my Mugwort blend. This one I was at a fair, and I was racing from the restroom back to my booth because I was there, you know, manning things by myself, and I heard my guides tell me 11 angelic essential oils with a focus on divination, and I was like, "Well, thank you. That's a wonderful idea." So I immediately went home and did my research, and I picked out a bunch of different oils that are considered angelic with the intention of like going back and doing research and seeing which ones fit and whatever. It's a lot more angelic oils out there than you would think. There's a lot. And I ended up getting kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing and tabling it for a while. And during that process, other things came in, like that it needed to have moldavite in it, and that it, you know, needed to be in mugwort instead of sage, because mugwort is used for clearing and sanctifying space like sages, but it's also used for things like prophecy and divination and lucid dreaming and astral projection, and it's got a lot of focus on the higher realms. And that was my goal with this one. So this one probably took me at least 6 months before I actually started to blend it, you know? So a lot of times I get the idea for something, and then it takes a while for it to actually come in the rest of the way. So some of them work faster than others.
So somewhere between 10 minutes and 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months to a year, because my sacred elements, this is more about the infusion of the crystals in the waters. So the waters themselves took over a year to be ready. So this one took probably closer to a year and a half to come into fruition. So it just really depends. You know, I listen to my guidance. I listen to, you know, the crystals and the oils, and, you know, it just depends. They can all...
It's almost like writing a song, right? There's you figure out kind of the message and the basis for the song, and then you add in the instruments, and you add in the vocals, and you add in the feelings, and they evolve over time. And you've kind of got, like, your first album is all your hits, right? And then as you progress and you grow, the musicality of it shifts and changes and grows, and the message changes. And then, you know, this album is themed one way, and it's very much it sounds like it's a dance for you. And you say a lot that it's about following your guidance.
It has all been about following my guidance, to be honest with you. You know, I recognize that my ideas for the things that I'm making are not necessarily mine. You know, they're guidance from my guides, my spirits, telling me what the world needs. And then and then I just continue to listen to that and let it play out however it's going to play out, and let it manifest in whatever manner it's going to manifest. I never in a million years planned this. It's definitely one of those things that just kind of manifested on its own. It created itself.
So your sacred elements, are those ready now, or are you still...
They are, yeah. I debuted them in the spring. I had debuted my purity oil, which was my first product, last fall, and then I debuted all of the sprays this spring. And the reason why I didn't do the sprays last fall is the waters just weren't quite ready. Now they are. So my sacred elements, instead of focusing on the oils and the oil blends, which is what I've done with everything else that I have here, I was really focused on the waters. I have a woman, her name is Gentle Thunder. She's a sacred water carrier, and she has been collecting waters from around the world in sacred ceremony, and her intention is to unite the waters, to unite the people. And when I heard her story, it just really touched me deep in my heart. Uniting the people is kind of one of my goals as well. And she gifted me some of the waters. I knew I needed to do something really special with it. I didn't want to just throw them in with what I was already doing. So I chose 11 crystals that carry the element of storm. Well, not all of them do. My focus is on the element of storm. And for that transformation and manifestation. To me, these waters have a real Gaia type feel to them. They've got that, they're very grounding because they connect you to the Earth Star chakra, and they open that up so that and bring up source energy. So they're very grounding in that way, but they're also very expansive. You can feel them working through your chakras and opening them up, and then taking you up into the higher realms. But it's in a much more grounded feel. Whereas crystal clarity, that's more, you can feel it too, but it's more high. This is more grounded feeling. I chose 7 sacred herbs and resins to honor the 7 sacred directions, and then I created 7 sprays. One of them, so with the herbs and resins that are available, the sprays that are available are sage, mugwort, a frankincense and myrrh blend, palo santo, copal, and rose. And then my 7th spray is purity, which is a blend of all 7. So this one's very, very grounding. It's a banishing blend. So, frankincense and myrrh are used for things like exorcism and stuff like that. And it's also got a lot of love energy in it. So you're really working through all of those energies. Plus it's going to help with clearing and balancing the chakras and helping with just that energetic flow and stuff. So that's this one. Purity. It's my favorite oil to diffuse in my house. I love how it shifts my house. It keeps everything pure. Yeah. Would you like to try the spray, Violet?
I love these. I think you passed them around earlier.
Yeah.
We got to utilize them. So I think they're amazing. And the rose one, I love the rose. But I would.
So if people want to know more about you and your sprays, how do they get to you? How do they find you, Pixi?
Well, the best way is to call me or text me, because I'm still in the process of getting my website finished. I had a lot of new products. I brought out 7 new products last fall, and it's just been a process of getting all the messages and stuff that my guides are telling me. So content has been a little bit of a challenge for me on the website. So calling me or texting me at 303-669-6213 is the best way. But you can also email me at pixiespotions@gmail.com, and that's PIXISPOTIONS @gmail.com.
You also see clients, so
I
they
do.
come to you. So what type of services do you offer? Because I would love to be able to share a little bit of that too.
I do shamanic sessions, so like shamanic journey, clearing energies with feathers or with different energy healing modalities. I do oracle card readings. I offer a shamanic chakra balancing session. I offer an intentional transfiguration and integration session, which actually ends up being a lot more talking, but that's kind of the job of the shaman, is to help get you into those, to help you find those places that need to be shifted, what some people would call their shadows, and help bring that out into the light and help you with processing it. So that's what the transfiguration and integration is. It really depends on what the client needs. I'm going to show up in whatever manner I need to. Usually the oils and the sprays are incorporated in that, and that's something that they can take home to help support the work that I do in session. Sometimes it's just a straightforward like Reiki session if that's what they need, although it's never straight Reiki because I have Sacred Blue Flame and the Galactic Ray as well. So it's always as fellow practitioners, you understand what I'm saying, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you just following your guidance for the person. You're being intuitively guided as to where you need to go and what they need. So
absolutely. Shifting for all of us.
Yeah.
So do you have upcoming fairs?
I am going to be at the Colorado Medieval Festival June 6th-ish. Whatever that weekend is, 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's a super fun one. They have jousting and LARPing and heavy steel fighting and all kinds of fun activities to check out, as well as all the different wares, leather wares, and stuff like that. And from there, I'm going to be giving... Is
that here in town?
It's in Loveland.
Loveland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then... also, in the Loveland area, the weekend of the 22nd, I'm going to be at a women's sharing and healing retreat that's being hosted by Reno Longmoons, and I will be doing a workshop there focusing on my Aphrodisia blends and how to create little mini rituals for yourself to support loving yourself more and taking better care of yourself and supporting yourself on that level. And then from there, I don't know. I'll probably do some of the Pagan Pride days and stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff lined up until like the Body, Mind, Spirit fairs in the fall.
Well, just out of curiosity, if somebody wanted to do sort of what I would call a home party setting where you came for a group of people, would you do that?
Absolutely, I would love that. That would be epic. I would love to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Contact her if maybe you have a group of friends who would all like to... try these. This would be a great way to spend an evening.
Or a day. I kind of have a lot of stuff. I didn't, it's crazy how this has grown from one product to like 20 or more. I don't even know how many products.
Well, it's awesome stuff because she went into my room today and she's like, "There's my stuff." It's like, yes, I have your stuff. Jason has your stuff. Dave has your stuff.
Yeah, we all use it.
Fans.
Yeah, Pixi fans all around.
Yeah, Pixies everywhere.
That's good.
Everyone needs a Pixi in their life.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Gotta have that playful energy, right?
It is. Yeah. It is.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come personally and share it with us, and having you here in person, be able to smell them and interact with the energies has been really special. Like we just got like a play-by-play of all the goodies here. So I would encourage anybody that has the opportunity to meet you in person to definitely take advantage and figure out what's going to work for you and get it in your get it in your hands, get it in your life for sure.
Thank you.
Well, I have my list of what I need now, so.
I don't need a list. I just need a package of everything.
The whole shebang, yeah.
There needs to be a package.
Yeah, well, notice I have my little package here in my little box. This goes everywhere with me, all my personal ones, and that way I have all of my stuff at my disposal whenever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome stuff. So thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it. For all our listeners, thank you for joining us today. On our next show, we're going to have medium Rebecca Rosen. Thank you for listening and joining today, and please stay tuned because we're going to highlight several of the practitioners here at the Center at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. So have a great week. We'll see you later.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye-bye.
I am Brenda Hardwick, an award-winning author and healer who is a teacher and practitioner of Seraphic Wisdom. I'm also studied in several other healing modalities, such as shamanic Reiki, and a certified integrative nutrition health coach. Through my connection with the Creator and the guidance of my angels, I provide as much enlightenment as possible to the clients who come and see me. Healing is the foundation of what I practice. Teaching is the method I use to create the ripple effect that will help change the world. Writing is how I encourage and facilitate the transformation of others to the higher vibrations we are all seeking. As a healer, I am connected and attuned to the seraphim. They are the high angels. They help me heal mind, body, and soul of those who come to me. I also use laughter as medicine, and the health coaching is applied to help clients receive a well-rounded approach to finding their light and shining their health. You can find me at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I also practice out of the St. Andrew Healing Arts Center in Arvada, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I look forward to helping you find your light and shine it.
My name is Davina. I'm a reader here at DYSG, and I've been psychic since I was a small child. I'm gifted with sight, hearing, knowing, and feeling. I have gone public and have been reading for the last 5 years, full-time, so for over a year. I would be happy to serve you. I'm able to talk to your higher self, spirit guides, angels, sometimes passed over loved ones come through. I don't choose who comes through to speak to me. I just ask that it's for your highest good and in the light. I'm here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts from 10 to 5 on Fridays.
Hi, I'm Nikki Milton. I am the Center Manager and Marketing Manager here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. I'm here 2 days a week on Mondays and Fridays, marketing this beautiful center and making sure that the center is up to standard for all you lovely guests who will hopefully come and visit us soon. I also own a content marketing agency, so I'm a teacher here in the space because I have a real passion for helping the spiritual business owners in this community learn how to brand and market their businesses. So I run a business class series every year on branding and marketing and social media classes, as well as a full strategy workshop towards the end of the year to help you get your business in line for the upcoming year. And that is what I do here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio.